On this week's video, we're once again asking that question, which is, how bad can it be? And whenever somebody brings up the phrase, worst movie ever, the conversation invariably goes to Manos, Hands of Fate, often considered to be one of the biggest turkeys ever put onto film. And we're going to find out today if it doesn't live up to its reputation and if it's actually alright to watch, or if, when it comes to bad movies, it is the master. So, back in 1966, insurance salesman Harold P. Warren made a bet with his friend who was an Academy Award-winning screenwriter. He said that making a horror film just isn't that hard and decided to make a film with no background in it, no experience, and let's face it, no real talent. Armed with $19,000 in 1963 money, which would be equivalent to about $150,000 today, it's the story of a family going on vacation together, and within 2 minutes, you realize that they didn't have microphones, and every single sound in the movie was dubbed over after the fact. Like this beautiful song.
Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 merrily.
I just find it a weird coincidence that two of the all-time best so bad they're good movies feature scenes with families on vacation in a car singing row, row, row your boat.
Just sing. Row, row, row your boat gently down a stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Merrily, 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 merrily.
And very soon after that, you realize that some of the actors are even dubbed by the same people, causing scenes where people are literally talking to themselves.
Right, mister. I see you have a taillight problem.
No excuse. Running late, first vacation, kid getting tired.
That's too bad.
So, can't you give us a break, officer?
Well, all right.
Sure do appreciate it. We are running kind of late.
Then, pay very close attention to these characters. You've got the police and two horny teens, and remember them.
Why don't you guys leave us alone?
Then, after a really long number of driving scenes, our heroes are lost and encounter this guy, Torgo. He has this weird cane thing, and everything he says is uncomfortable.
There is no place like that around here.
He has this unique way of walking accompanied by this theme music. Always with the theme music. So apparently the explanation for this whole thing is that Torgo is supposed to be a satyr and have goat legs, but of course they didn't have the budget or skill level to actually show that, so we just get this. He makes really awkward passes like lady, just move away from him. It's not like he can catch you. The family discovers a garden full of women and a sleeping dude, but can't leave because their car won't start, and the master awakens. The young lovers and the sheriff return because I'm sure they'll do something. Oh, so not yet, I guess. The master's wives awaken and basically sit around and argue for a while like some sort of evil slumber party, and then you have this thrilling fight scene. I mean, look at this amazing choreography. Speaking of choreography, check out this 1 minute long shot of Torgo just standing up. I'm gonna show it to you in its entirety. Plus, look at the master's cape. See? Their hands. Get it? I should point out as well that Manos is Spanish for hands. So this movie is Hands of Fate. And then, oh, this fight is still going on, huh? It's still. They kill Torgo by, I guess, waving their hands around him and like groping him and lightly slapping him until this happens. We never see Torgo again, but I'm assuming that he dies. Slapping and groping. There's a fine line in the Manos universe with what defines an execution versus a fetish. Sadly, the actor that played Torgo committed suicide 1 mere month before the film was released. Apparently, John Reynolds was a very troubled man and was on LSD for a very large portion of shooting, which kind of accounts for a good portion of his very unusual performance. It's kind of a shame that he didn't live to see how beloved that his bizarre character would become. They look for the family, with the Master taking every chance he can get to show off his cape, but Mike has the brilliant plan of hiding from the Master in his own house because they figure it will be the last place that they look. Well, it's the first place he looks, and focus the camera. Focus, please. It's the dial on the front of the camera. Just go ahead and turn that thing. It ends with someone else heading to the cabin, and those damn kids are still out there making out. The guy and the girl have been making out in a car with all of their clothes on for like a minimum of 8 hours, which I have to respect. These kids just love them some kissing. And oh no, Mike is the new Torgo, and Margaret and Debbie are now brides of the Master. Literally the only scary thing about the movie is the fact that the Master thinks it's cool to have a 6-year-old girl as a bride. The director agreed, claiming that the film was the worst ever made after the premiere and considered redubbing it into a comedy. The film was then pretty much forgotten until MST3K basically made it a cult sensation, taking its place in history as one of the best bad movies of all time. Much later, its notoriety eventually led to a revival of sorts, and everyone wanted a piece of the story. In 2018, Manos, The Rise of Torgo was released, billed as a prequel. It features Jackie Neiman-Jones, who played Little Debbie in the original, returning as the god Manos to create the Master, and then a baby named Torgo is born. So I guess if the first film was in real time, then this would have to be sometime in the 40s? It's an attempt to be goofy and intentionally bad, but sadly, when you're missing the skill level to accomplish this, it's actually worse. Is it worth it? I guess if you wanted to see a version of Torgo's youth and how he was chosen by the Master and how he got his goat legs and all, and it's not especially hard to get through or anything. There's a minor amount of charm to it, and you can tell that they have a genuine love for the original film. It does what it says it's going to do, and at least it isn't annoying in the way it does it, but honestly, you can skip it. 2018 also gave us Manos Returns, although it didn't become publicly available until 2020. This version was actually a sequel of sorts, with several original cast members returning. There's a new Torgo, I guess, although he dies from a knife wound that very obviously doesn't actually cut his neck, and then 4 friends going on vacation, of course. There's obvious repeating of elements of the original, like the sheriff stopping them, and then Diane Adelson returns as Margaret, and I guess Torgo's not dead? This falls into a lot of the same traps as Rise of Torgo, and that when it's not repeating the beats from the original film, it's too self-aware, and they're kind of trying to make a bad movie, putting it into the whole Birdemic samurai cop realm of people trying to make a self-aware sequel a cult classic intentionally, but the reason we fell in love with these things in the first place was their earnestness. The original Manos was made to be a serious horror film, but failed in every aspect, which is why it ultimately was entertaining. This movie also fails, but it's clear that they were never trying to be serious in the first place, so it's just not as fun. It's obvious the two films are connected as they share cast members like This guy in the photo is one of the lovers in Rise of Torgo, and the sheriff at the beginning did the voice dubbing for the sheriff in Rise as well. The cool bit here is that both Jackie Naaman Jones is back as Debbie, as well as Tom Neiman back as the Master himself, kinda looking like a weird cross between John Waters and Ron Jeremy. Of course, there's craziness with the Master's wives, and look, I really hate to be mean here, but it's pretty clear that either the Master's standards had slipped, or the casting agents did. It all kinda doesn't go anywhere. It's only a little over an hour, and it still seems to last forever, and the ending doesn't even resolve anything. The ending gives a dedication to Tom, as he passed away in 2016, so I imagine we've seen the last of the Master. I guess Jackie's still banking on the franchise, though, as she's working on a TV series called Manos, The Debbie Chronicles, which I'm guessing doesn't take Manos Returns as canon, as it involves Debbie breaking free of the Master's sway and teaming up with a group of others to hunt monsters. There's a trailer for it, and I guess a Kickstarter campaign, but it doesn't really look like there's much happening with it, so I guess I really wouldn't hold your breath for it. Also, for a good laugh, check out Manos, Hands of Felt, which can be viewed on YouTube and is an adaptation of the film using hand puppets.
The Master will be very disturbed. I'll get the equipment.
It's pretty fun. There's also a video game that features a retro styling for the additional throwback fun. So there you have it. It is 3 movies of varying degrees of quality. If you haven't seen the first Manos Hands of Fate, the classic original, I highly recommend it, especially if you like bad movies. It is one of the worst films ever made, but they were trying so hard that it ends up being extremely entertaining despite its flaws. So I would definitely check it out. It makes me laugh really, really hard. Have some friends over, have some drinks and everything, and trust me, you'll enjoy it. If you're not as crazy about bad movies, maybe check out the Mystery Science Theater version of it. It's definitely a more like intermediate way of being introduced to that film, but it's a blast. The sequel and prequel that followed it, I'm not that crazy about. I don't think I would ever watch those ones again. They weren't like unwatchably bad, but they were just a little too self-aware for me and just did not hit the mark. But I don't know, let me know if they hit the mark for you down below in the comments. Let me know what you thought of the original Manos as well down there. Like and subscribe. Share this video out to all your friends, of course. And please check out the patrons over here. These guys help keep the channel going and help these videos get made. You can do so too by going to patreon.com/movietimelines and helping to support the channel. In the meantime, thank you just for watching, and I'll see you very, very shortly for another great video. Thanks guys, bye-bye.